What's up everyone, Gids here for another video on Gran Saga, and this game has just been released into early access yesterday, and there have been minor hiccups throughout the whole release process, but that is to be expected for an early access. Okay, they are still having troubles with Steam and iOS, so this game is still not available for Steam and iOS, so sorry to people that are looking for those options, but it should be available in Epic Games and in Google Play Store for Android users, and for PC is again Epic Games. So me personally, I'm using Epic Games right now, but don't worry, you should be able to link your Google accounts and transfer later on if you want to. So if you don't know how to do that, this is not even the first tip yet, but you can just go to your settings and then account and sign in with Google over here, and you can link your account. Later on, you should be able to load your account into whatever platform you actually want. But signing in with Google is still problematic at this time, I think. So you will not be able to do that because a lot of players that are playing on Android are still playing with guest accounts. So yeah, that's a huge intro and already one tip, I guess, that's not even really included. But anyways, if you want more content on Gran Saga, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more of that stuff. Okay, so let's start with the 10 tips and tricks for this video. First tip that I want everyone to know, especially if you are a free-to-play player, you want to focus all your resources on one character at a time. Focus it on one character first. Okay, so big reason is that most of the time you're only going to really have one character out, except for dungeons and other stuff. But most of the time, like on this one, open world hunting or farming, you only really have one character, and it's usually going to be the one that's carrying the whole team, especially in the quests. Main quest story mode, you only really need one character. Everyone else can just die with very bad equipment, but later on you should be able to build them too. Okay, so the reason why is that you want to do a hand-me-down system wherein essentially you build one character, and when you get better equipment for that character, you can move that character's equipment towards other characters later on. So that's basically what you want to do, and you don't really want to be recycling or dismantling all of your equipments, because essentially when you look at the character screen over here, only grand weapons are specific to each character, because grand weapons are essentially your character's abilities, right? So you can't really equip them to other characters, right? Well, later on there will be some characters that you can share grand weapons with, but for now there is no other characters that has that. Okay, but for artifacts, these things are shareable. You can transfer these ones to other characters anytime you want. So these things, once you have better quality artifacts, you can just move it over to your second character, and then your second character can move their artifacts towards your third character. So again, priority is to the first character or to only one character. Next is going to be your 3 characters that will always be in your roster. Okay, so again, I suggested this one before. Just build 1 tank and then 2 DPSs, and then support characters can just come in whenever you need to. Okay, so again, system of a hand-me-down. So whenever you have artifacts over here that are very strong and very usable, put it on your main. Once you find some upgrades or better artifact, move it towards your second character. Like for me, it's this one right here for QE. And then when your QE has other equipments or artifacts that are not really used by her, but they're still pretty good, you move it down over to your third character. So basically you have a hierarchy, and then everyone else can just have an auto equip. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for your equipments, because you don't really want to be building so many characters like at the very start. Like the end goal for sure is to build as many characters as possible, because there will be dungeons that will be requiring a lot of elemental advantages. So it would be good to actually optimize runs for those kinds of dungeons. But for now, at the start of the game, you want to focus on one character and hand down all other equipments to your other characters. Okay, equipments are almost similar. You can hand it down, but there are just some specifics to it. Like not every character can equip the same thing. Like there are 3 types of equipments. So there's one for frontline or tank. So this is what this one's using. Next one is we have mage equipment, which is what Q is using here. And then we have assassin equipment, which we have Namari here using. Okay, so Namari is sharing equipment with Karte right here. So those are assassin equipments. These are mage equipments for Seriade and for Kiwi. And we have Las, Wayan, and Fuxiao sharing equipment for frontliners. Okay, so that's essentially it. What you want to do, again, focus on one character and move down from there. Next up, for progression purposes, you want to only focus on the main quest as much as possible. You will be seeing some subquests here and there, but I suggest you just ignore those things until you've unlocked most of the contents, because a lot of the contents right here, like everything here that increases your character's powers, are unlocked by progressing your main story quest. And also equipments will be unlocked by defeating certain bosses for story mode, right? For example, this one, you need to clear chapter 418, 421, and 422, and you can see that the rates for equipments actually get better as you progress. So it's much better to progress the main quest first before you start doing all these things. So yeah, second tip is to just farm main quest over anything else until you hit a wall. Okay, so once you can't actually progress your main quest, that's the time you start doing your subquests, because your subquests will be giving you a few more resources for you to be able to summon, power up your characters, and then attempt your main quest again. Next up, total power of the whole team or your whole roster. So you can see here, if I scroll over, and you can see almost everyone has equipments and artifacts equipped. The reason being is that when you go over to your progress over here in the menu, you have total combat power and you still receive a lot of rewards over here. A lot of them are very, very beneficial, like free diamonds over here, free stuff that you can use to power up everything. So you don't really want to leave any character unequipped. Okay, so you have everyone auto-equip. You can just click auto-equip every single time you get new equipments or you do the hand-me-down method, right? But the way I really do it is that when I'm trying to prioritize some characters, I just unequip everything for all characters that I have, right? Unequip and unequip. Okay, so everyone's unequipped now. So how I do my hand-me-down is that I have, again, my primary character over here that will be receiving all the goodies, all the good stuff. Okay, so basically what auto-equip does is it equips the strongest equipment that is available for that character. So yeah, for my primary character, I already have it set up here. So next up, I want to go to my secondary character and equip what I want. So yeah, you auto-equip over here. So she gets the second best equipments. And then for my third character, actually will not be using this guy anymore. But I mean, putting Namari here will be disadvantage later on because that's double wind, which is okay, I guess. But yeah, it's okay. You can just auto-equip it here. She has 14k power actually. So next prioritization is gonna be YN. And then everything else is just going to take all the leftovers. Okay, so basically that's it. They take all the leftovers and you should be good. So my total power right now is 93,000. We're almost at 100k, which will be nice if we get lucky with summons, because a lot of these things are just going to be grand weapons and artifacts, right? So once you get everyone to SSR grand weapons and artifacts, you should be in a good spot. Also, I haven't leveled anything on characters that I'm not using. So if I'm using the characters, actually level up their stuff. But if I'm not using them, not leveling it. Again, focusing on just the main character and then a second character plus a third character that you will be using. So main roster only, and again, focus on one. Alright, total power is really good, very, very beneficial. My next step is on the potential. So potential is a system that you will unlock through, again, story quest. That's why you should be focusing on story quest. And this one gives a lot of power and stats to your character. So for example, here, I have my level 55 Fuxiao, and she has a lot of bonus stats over here that you unlock through this system. So basically, this is where you get a lot of bonus stats. But the main takeaway on this one, the main focus, wherein you start this one, because it's gonna get a little bit overwhelming at first. The main focus that I want everyone to look at is going to be this thing right here. it's going to be an SSR Grand Weapon reward for that specific character. So you get a guaranteed SSR Grand Weapon for the character, and this is what you should be prioritizing first whenever you see this one. So let's try take a look at someone. Okay, this one. This one is last, so I have 0, right? I have 0 equipped on him, so no potentials unlocked. So you can see here we have SR Grand Weapon over here and another SR Grand Weapon, which I don't really mind getting, but it's not my priority. What we want here is the SSR Grand Weapon. So you can see here the path is going to be unlocked. You can just click at acquire all over here, but I don't really like doing that because some of them will be requiring some resources, like for example this one, materials or souls from enemies, which I don't really want to be spending at all right now. But most of the time it's just going to be requiring PP. It's still funny that it's called PP, but yeah, it's potential points. So yeah, most of the time I just want to acquire stuff that will be requiring 1 PP and nothing else, right? So these are things that are found over here initially, right here, right? So again, this is increasing your total power as well. So it's very, very good for the point that I made on the third tip. Okay, so there are some that doesn't really require that, it just requires levels, right? So you can open them whenever you hit level 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60, I guess. Yeah, to 55 only actually. Yeah, this is 55. Okay, and then these ones are also really good because it enhances your character's abilities on the world, right? Potential skills. So that's basically it, right? Acquire all and you can still enhance these things. So these things on the first right path right here are pretty good since you can enhance them based on level as well. So after you go for the Grand Weapon path, you want to pass towards this one and then get the free ones. And then finally, you want to, again, acquire the ones that does not really require souls. Or better yet, you want to specialize your character. So for example, last, I want him to be a tank. Then you get the DPS stuff or DPS stuff later, right? For example, criticals and attack damage, you want to get those later on, but prioritize getting these things first. So the thing with this is that you cannot really reset. There is no reset button. So once you've committed your PP onto it, you can't really do anything about it. But the thing is, PP is unique for each character, right? So they all have their own PPs. Each character have their own PP, so you can just spend them whenever it's available. Okay, so yeah, again, don't worry if you messed up. Like, every character is going to need all the stats that you get from this one anyway. So the end goal is to unlock everything anyway. So if you messed up, it's fine. Don't worry about it, right? So just leave it and move on. All right. Okay, next up is for the equipment shop over here on the bottom right for the towns. So if you are in the town, make sure to drop by to the equipment shop at least once a day because this one refreshes every day. So look at the equipment and there should be a lot of stuff that's being sold here. Some are souls that you might need for unlocking or enhancing your stuff. And the main thing that I want you guys to actually buy on this one are the XP materials. Okay, so you can actually refresh 10 times daily, and yeah, it will refresh daily as well. So your 10 10 refreshes will refresh per day. But if you don't have enough gold or a lot of gold, don't worry, you don't really have to purchase everything in here. But whenever you see some good stuff, like sometimes or later on in the game, you'll see higher tier equipments, like up to tier 4 for equipments right here, and that's going to be really good value for you. But right now, I recommend buying XP materials for leveling up your equipments, your artifacts, and your grand weapons. Next tip that we have is on exchange over here, and you click this cat right here. There's this thing called Morrow's Blessing. So Morrow's Blessing, basically, it lets you disassemble 6, I think, or 4, 6 artifacts, or is it artifacts? No, it's not artifacts. Grand weapons, common, uncommon grand weapons, to be able to get crystals. So this one happens every 12 hours. So that's 2 times in a day. So that's around 600 free crystals every day. So make sure to do this one. Mine's almost ending in 56 minutes. So don't miss out on this one. Next up is this content called Skirmish. So this is one of the first multiplayer mechanics that they actually show you. But the thing is, It will require you a party, but you don't really have to go in with a party on this one, because when you click start and you click quick start, you actually get AI as your teammates, and it's very doable with AI, and you don't really need to find a party for this one, especially if not a lot of players are online at the moment or are doing the same kind of content, or you are just too far ahead and you can find players that have unlocked the same skirmish level as you are. Okay, so this is pretty useful, especially if you have one very strong character already, or if you have no friends. Well. Next up is for summon. So just so you don't get confused when it comes to summoning in this game, so we do have pity bar in here, and it's 110 pulls, or no, 10 pulls to get a guaranteed SSR. So that's basically 100 summons to get a guaranteed SSR. So the thing that a lot of people get confused with is that how does the bar go up? Basically, it's actually very, very straightforward. If you summon a 10 pull and you do not get an SSR, the bar will go up. Okay? But if you got an SSR for that 10 pull, the bar will not go up, essentially. So that's pretty good, since if you look at other games and their pity systems, whenever you get SSRs, their pity system reset, right? Their pity resets, and if you did not get the rate up, unlucky, right? But in this game, it just pauses. It just pauses your pity progress until you hit 100 without getting any SSR, which is really, really nice. Another thing that you want to understand here is that you have different summon currencies. So we have this thing here that are consumables, and then you have your crystals, which is in general what most people will be using, right? So if you can see, if you check here, a lot of them, like the first three, are using this crystal right here, and then the next one here, well, I don't want to summon on that one. Next one here is only really using crystals, and then next one here can use this thing, the yellow thing or the blue thing right here. Okay, so a special thing over here is that you will be gathering or making a lot of these things right here: Sacred Trees Memories and Sacred Trees Fruit. So these are like the usual rewards that they give out to most players. So yeah, it only makes sense that these things do not actually add to the pity, but you will be receiving a lot of them. So that's something that you might be surprised with. If this thing is not actually moving, well, you might be just using the stuff over here. Okay, I recommend you use them whenever you have them, because this will have the general, I don't know, general or everyone's artifacts and grand weapons, basically. So this is the normal banners, I guess, right? These are your normal banners. So you will be able to receive everything over here. So there's nothing specified. But again, if you want to build a certain specific character, you always want to be on the rate up banners. Like for example, me for Fu Xiao, right? I want to focus on Fu Xiao, max her out. So I will just be focusing on this banner right here, and wah! Let's go. We actually got it. Nice. So again, as I've said, if you summon and you get an SSR, your pity bar will not move. But if you summon and do not get an SSR, like for example, this one, yeah, we did not get an SSR, then it moves, right? So now it's at 20%. So yeah, that's basically it for summoning. Again, focus on one character at a time. You don't want to be summoning or using your crystals over here. Down here, it's a bad choice because this is so random and you might get grand weapons for characters that you don't really use. So it's gonna suck, right? Same thing with this one. Artifacts are so random as well. You might just want to randomly get them whenever you're using these currencies over here. Crystals will only go into banners, specific banners, and everything else can go down here. Okay, next up is for ticket consumption. So you will be getting a lot of these things: conquest tickets, silver royal order pieces, right? I suggest you save all of these things. I suggest you save all of these things for harder content later on, because usually those are used to get yourself equipments. But again, early on in the game, you will not really be seeing some good equipments until you see the gold ones, right? So right now, it's up to SR equipments that you can unlock by chapter 4. But later on, you unlock hard mode, wherein you can start getting the gold or SSR equipment. So that's when you actually want to use your conquest tickets. So right now it recharges. It recharges. I don't know what the rate is, but it recharges, and you just want to use those recharges onto these things or the highest level that you have unlocked. Okay, so you don't want to be using your tickets as early as now. Okay, you want to save them for later. And this one has a timed one, but it's 7 days. 7 days is a long time, so you want to save them until you're ready to actually use them for some good equipments. Okay, so for your final tip for today, it's that you can actually full AFK in the game, and the game will actually reward you for it. So you can see here my character is actually gaining XP and gold while AFK farming here, and you can just click this button up here. Oops. So you can click this button right here and click the battery saver mode, and you can just go away, and then we come back to this one later and see what we actually get. Okay, and this is where we end up with almost, I don't know, around 15 to 30 minutes. So the most that you can get is not really a lot, right? So you can get tickets that you can use, but yeah, most of it is just going to be trash, common, uncommon stuff. And I'm not sure if it's gonna be worth it to actually kill your PC over this one. So yeah, I might want to try doing it overnight just the one time if I get to sleep anyway, but yeah. So I guess one beneficial thing of actually doing AFK farming in the open world is that you get to increase the bonds with your grand weapon. So essentially, bonds is like increasing the affinity with each of your grand weapons. So whenever your character uses any of your grand weapon skills, the bond with that specific grand weapon increases. So this is actually really good to farm with your alt characters, right? So if you want them to just spam all their abilities in the open world, this is a way to do it. So if you go over to quest and grand weapon, you can see here there are the relationship bars right here with XP. So yeah, that's essentially how much you're getting, or well, whenever you're using your abilities, this XP right here is going up, and you can see here there's a lot of crystals. You get a lot of crystals by doing this one, so I guess that's another benefit with just doing open world farming. Okay, so that's pretty much it for my tips and tricks. I did not realize it took this long actually. So yeah, if you're still here and watching, thank you very much for watching. And if you have any comments, questions, let me know in the comments below. I always try to respond to everyone, and I read all your comments. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye bye.